taking, just be. Don't take it. Taking, just don't be. And live my life. Don't take it personal.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for today's meal prep video. We've got 2 meals to prep for this week. We're doing Mexican meatloaf with roasted sweet potatoes and roasted veggies. I love that meal. It's very satisfying and it's kind of a one oven meal, all 3 things baked together. It makes it super easy. And then we're also doing taco soup. And of course that is easy. It is in the crock pot. And then I'll also be making some corn muffins and my protein cookies as usual. So come along. Thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe below. Okay guys, here is the produce that we have to prep this week. I have a tomato that will be for my sandwiches, my 3 bell peppers that I will dice up for my scrambled eggs, and I also use those whenever I make my pizzas. We have the sweet potatoes that we're going to dice up and roast in the oven for the Mexican meatloaf meal. Then I have my bananas, which of course we do not have to prep those, but I will have one of those every afternoon with my snack at work. And I have a pineapple and a cantaloupe. We use the Publix grocery pickup or Instacart pickup, whichever one it is. We picked it up at the store, and overall they did a good job on everything that they picked, except this is the world's tiniest tomato. I'm not exactly sure which one I added to my cart, but I really wanted a bigger one, so I'm probably going to have to pick up another tomato because that will not be enough for 5 days. And then the pineapple, it looks pretty, but it's really only as big as my hand, so I'm not sure how much pineapple we will get out of that, but my husband is going to have to make a run to Walmart later anyway to pick up some cat litter and a couple of other things, so we may have to get a little more pineapple and tomato, but we'll see how we end up. Oh, I also have blueberries. I forgot to get those out, but I did get my blueberries this week, and I'll be washing those and showing you how I wash those in the vinegar and water. And y'all, here is my hubby, my sous chef. Turn around, Charlie. Smile for the camera. Say hey to everyone.
Hey everyone.
So he does most of my prep work as far as chopping up my fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. He can just do it so much better and faster than I can. But I really do appreciate his help. Guys, while he is working on chopping up the cantaloupe and the pineapple, I'm going to start washing all of my other fruit and veggies. Again, I like to use the distilled white vinegar for most of my fruits and stuff. So I've already filled the water in here. I know the water is loud on camera. So I went ahead and filled that up for the blueberries, and I'm going to add a little bit more water and just let this soak for a few minutes, and then those should, you can rinse those really well, and they will not taste like vinegar, but I do feel like it keeps them fresher and they're super clean. And one other thing, this is just the OXO salad spinner, and I just ordered this on Amazon. I'll see if I can find it and link it below, but it is very handy because you can easily, you know, pull the stuff out. I love to wash my fruits and vegetables in it. I really don't use it as a salad spinner, but I use it just to prep my fruit and veggies. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and peel the sweet potatoes, and my husband will chop those and get them ready to go into the oven. I like to peel them. I'm a little bit pickier than he is, so I do take the time to peel the potatoes, and then he does the hard work, which is dicing them up. Alright guys, I have my fruit prepped. Well, I'm ready to prep it. My husband has chopped up my cantaloupe. I've washed and rinsed off my blueberries really well and have those in a bowl, and I also have my pineapple ready. So I'm going to fill one of these just to kind of show you what I do. I take one of these to work each week and eat it with my lunch because of course the fruit is 0 points, so it is the perfect side to my sandwich. And my sandwich that I make is with the boar's head oven roasted gold turkey breast, and I put that on one of those Arnold's thin sandwich rolls, and it is 4 points, so it ends up being a 4-point lunch. So I'll take this, and then also a side of the non-fat Greek yogurt, which is also 0 points, just to dip my fruit in. So I'm going to put the rest of these together, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay guys, I got all of the fruit into my 6 containers, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill my other containers with the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt, and the containers that I use for those are these little ones, which it's a bad angle, but they're actually little baby food containers that I ordered off of Amazon. Okay guys, here is the fruit. I have it all prepped and ready to go this week for my lunch, and the yogurt, and I will make my sandwich fresh either that morning that I go to work, or I will do that the night before. I'm going to try to go ahead and make one today and add in this just so that you can see what I do have for lunch, and how I put my sandwich together, because I just don't have time in the mornings if I'm putting it together then to do it. And it does actually help me out and save me time to do it the night before. Okay, so I said earlier that I would try to insert a clip of the sandwich that I make that I usually take to work every week with my fruit. And then I'm also just going to go ahead and put my lunchbox together for tomorrow while I'm at it. So these are the ingredients. I always use the green leaf lettuce. I love this one. It's washed, ready to go. I can just eat it straight out of the package. And then I use one of these Arnold's sandwich thins. The multigrain is my favorite one. I've also tried the wheat. They're both good. That is 4 smart points on the blue plan. And then I always have tomato, which this is my little tiny tomato that's sliced up that you would have seen in my grocery haul. And then this is the Boar's Head Oven Roasted Gold turkey breast that we picked up from the deli. And then I just ordered this little container for meat off of Amazon. I'll try to link that below for you. And then mustard. So it is just a 4-point sandwich, and I will show you how to put it together and then what else I put in my lunchbox. Okay, first of all, I just take one of these sandwich thins and open it up. And I like a lot of mustard on mine. I don't know if you do or not, but you can just put however much you want. It is 0 points, so I will put mustard on both sides. And then after I get my mustard on there, I will take my scale and weigh out the turkey breast. I typically do 2.5 ounces. It's 0 points. My dogs are over here if you can hear them because they love the turkey. They always have to have a little bite every time I make my sandwich. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it portioned out here first, and then I will give them a little bite. Okay, that's perfect. And let me give them a bite so that they're happy. And one of my little cats wants a bite too. Okay, now. Then the only thing you do is literally add a piece of tomato and some lettuce that I want. And if there's any bad spots on it, then I will just go ahead and pull that off. I like that piece is kind of getting a little gross looking, but otherwise it's okay. And I am gonna pile my lettuce on there. I'm gonna try to go ahead and use the rest of the piece of this piece because it's kind of going bad. So there we go. That's all I do for my sandwich. And I'm gonna get the rest of my stuff together. Okay, this is the lunch bag that I use. This is a Fit and Fresh that I ordered off of Amazon. I like it because it holds my containers and stuff pretty well. But I usually take a couple of bottles of water. I'm gonna go ahead and put that down in there. And then I have my fruit that I prepped that you watched earlier in the video, and my yogurt. Put that in there, and then I have my sandwich, which I just put in a little baggie. And then for my afternoon snack, I always have a Fiber One brownie, which is 2 points, and a banana, which is 0 on the blue plan. And that's it. And it'll be ready to go in the morning. All I have to do is grab it out of the refrigerator and take it to work. So easy. And that is a 4-point lunch with a 2-point snack. So I have everything packed in my lunchbox ready to go. The only thing that I will make in the morning is my Premier Caramel Protein Shake with coffee. And I will just make that fresh because if I make it tonight, my ice, you know, it might get kind of watery and I don't want that to happen. So I do make that fresh in the morning whenever I leave. So I will have my breakfast, which is my eggs and bacon. And then around 10 o'clock, I will have my protein shake and coffee. And lunchtime, I'll have my sandwich and my fruit and yogurt. And then I have my Fiber One brownie and banana for snack. And then we will have one of the meal preps for dinner. And then if I'm still hungry, I will eat some of my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies, and if I'm not, then I don't. I'll stop. You know, I'm not just going to try to force feed myself if I don't hit my points. I usually always at least hit, you know, between that 13 to 17 range most days, but I do eat a lot of 0 point food, so I feel like I'm eating plenty of food. All right, I'm getting ready to put my taco soup on. For that, you need at least 2 to 3 chicken breasts, depending on how much chicken you want in yours, which we like ours to have lots of protein. It fills you up more. I've already sprayed my crock pot with the extra virgin olive oil cooking spray and placed my chicken breast in there. And then I'm just going to salt and pepper those and add in a packet of hot and spicy taco seasoning and then a packet of original taco seasoning. It also takes a bag of corn. This is just the sweet kernel bird's eye corn that I picked up at Publix. And then it needs 2 cans of drained and rinsed black beans, which these are just the Publix brand. That's what they had this week. That was the cheapest. And then I usually use 2 cans of Rotel, but I had this big can, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I do like mine a little bit spicier, so I am going to add some chili powder to that as well as some cumin. Both of these have become my favorite seasonings. Not sure why, but I love them. And then you also need some chicken broth. And I probably will use the whole container. It just depends on how soupy it is or how soupy I want it. Sometimes I won't use all of it, and like after it's been cooking for 3 or 4 hours, I'll check it and see if it needs more and add it at that time. So that's all of the ingredients that you need, and I will show you how I put it all together. I put together the taco soup. I like to use a lot of salt and pepper. I don't really have a measurement for that, but I am going to salt and pepper the chicken breast very well. I've got the 3 chicken breasts in here. And then I'm just gonna add my pepper. And y'all, this is one of the easiest meals. You just throw it together. I'll let it cook on high pretty much for the rest of the day, and then this is what we'll have for dinner tonight. I'm also going to go ahead and add in some of the ground cumin, which this is a little spicy, so you want to be careful with this, especially if you first started trying this. But it does add a little kick. Since I'm just using the original Rotel, I like to add that and the chili powder. There's also the fire roasted Rotel. That's good. Sometimes I'll use 1 small can of the original Rotel and 1 small can of the fire roasted. But I like to sometimes just use this big can of Rotel, which I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. Just dump the whole thing in there. And then I have the original Taco Bell seasoning and a hot and spicy packet of taco seasoning. I'm going to use both of those. I'm going to put the full packets in, which I think that this still comes out to 0 points. It could end up to be 1 point with the taco seasonings. I'll have to double check my points before I put it in the description box below, which I will type out this recipe and include the points for all of these meals in the description box. So please check that out. You can just click that little arrow below and get that. I'm also going to go ahead and add in a bag of frozen corn. Really doesn't matter which brand you get, and I usually just get like a 10 to 15 ounce bag, and it's always plenty. And then 2 cans of drained and rinsed black beans, which I've already drained and rinsed those, so these are ready to go in as well. And then the last thing is going to be my chicken broth. So I'm going to put quite a bit of this in, and then I'll just kind of stir everything up good. And I'm going to put it in the crock pot on high. I'm going to set it for 8 hours. it will really just cook for the rest of the day until we get ready to eat dinner. So I'm going to reserve just a little bit in there. That's probably about 3/4 of that container. And I'm going to grab a spoon here and give it a stir, just to kind of mix the taco seasoning around in there and the other seasonings as well. And pop this in the crock pot, and this will be done later this evening. And we will divide this out into 6 portions, and we will eat this 3 nights this week. And then I also will make corn muffins to go along with the taco soup, which they're so easy and so good. I love my carbs. That's one thing I love about Weight Watchers. I can find ways to fit in the things that I love, and that's why I'll probably, try to be a lifetime member and do this forever. It's a lifestyle. So there we go. I got all of that in here. I'm gonna go put this into the crock pot, and we will see what it looks like later today. Alright guys, I am now getting ready to start on the Mexican meatloaf. This is a Weight Watchers recipe or WW recipe. You can find it on the app. I have modified it because I think the original recipe calls for half ground beef and half ground turkey, and I just used the ground turkey just to lower the points. So what I use for my recipe is 1 pound of the 99% lean ground turkey breast, and I think the recipe calls for 2 egg whites. I just go ahead and use 2 whole eggs since I'm on the blue plan, and it's 0 since I took out the ground beef, so just a little extra fat in there. And then you also need a can of the diced green chilies, and this is the one I picked up, this hatch. I don't know if that's focusing or not. And then you also need a can of red enchilada sauce, so I got that. And then you need some cumin, some chili powder, a box of Jiffy corn muffin mix, and then of course salt and pepper. And then I have some Pam Baker's Joy that I have already sprayed in my muffin tin, because I will put this, I will make 12 muffins out of this, and then each of us will get 2 muffins per night. So let me get started on that, and I'll show you how to put it together. In the bowl, I've already put the 2 eggs and added the ground turkey, and then I'm just going to go ahead and salt and pepper. Again, I don't really measure this, I just kind of salt and pepper to my taste, which the longer I've been on WW, the spicier I seem to like things. So if you don't want as much seasoning, then of course just season it to your taste. And then I'm going to add in the chili powder. I think the recipe calls for 1/4 or 1/2 of a teaspoon. I'm not going to measure that, I'm just going to sprinkle some in there. It will be fine. And then some of the ground cumin as well. Just add a little generous sprinkling of that. So you need a whole box of the Jiffy corn muffin mix. And put this whole thing in there. And this is really what kind of binds it together, although you will see that it's a little runny, which might seem a little bit concerning, but it does firm up and it turns out to be the perfect consistency. I'm going to go ahead and add those green peppers in there. Let me grab a spoon, scrape all those out. And then right now we're only going to add about 1/2 of this can of enchilada sauce. We will use the other 1/2 pretty much once they're done. You take them out and you pour this on top of the muffins and then bake it for like another 5 minutes or so. So this mixture will seem pretty runny. I actually don't think that you could form this into a real meatloaf and it maintain its shape. So it just works well for me to scoop it and put it in the muffin tins. But y'all, it is delicious and filling, especially with the sweet potatoes and vegetables that I'm going to pair it with. So let me get this mixed up and scooped out into the muffin tins, and then we'll work on the sweet potatoes and the vegetables. I'll show you how I season those. So I just use an ice cream scooper to scoop this into the muffin tins. And I just try to scoop it as evenly as possible. I'm sure you could weigh it and measure it that way, but I've never had any issues with this, and this is one of my recurring meals that we eat a lot. Probably once a month we will have this. I'm just one of those people that does not need a whole lot of variety, so I am fine eating the same things. I'm going to finish getting these filled, and then we will work on the sweet potatoes and veggies. Okay, for my vegetables, I'm going to use this Bird's Eye California blend vegetables. This is about 3/4 of this bag that's left from the last time we used it. I'll probably go ahead and use most of this. And then the only thing that I season these with is this Montreal steak seasoning. I know that may sound a little weird, but trust me, it is delicious. And if you really want it seasoned well, you want to put a lot of seasoning on there, which we do. So I'm going to season this up good. And then this will bake in the oven along with the muffins and the sweet potatoes for about an hour, and it is delicious. Okay, that looks pretty good. So this one will be ready to go in the oven. I'm going to set it to the side and grab the sweet potatoes. So here's the sweet potatoes. Charlie diced these up earlier, so they have been ready to go. The only thing that we have to do is spray them really well with some extra virgin olive oil spray. And I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times and stir them so that everything is coated well. And then we're going to do some ground cinnamon, a generous helping of ground cinnamon, and this is going to give them that kind of sweet and savory taste. And then I'm just going to take some pink Himalayan sea salt and crack some of that on there. And I'm going to grab a spoon and give it a good stir and do that again, because I want to make sure that all of the potatoes are coated well in the cinnamon and the pink Himalayan salt. They'll cook for 1 hour. I will stir the potatoes about halfway through and maybe change the locations of the stuff in the oven. I might take something from the bottom shelf and put it on the middle. It just depends on how things are looking. So that looks really good. I'm gonna get all 3 things in the oven and get my timer set for 1 hour, and this meal will be done. And here it is, guys. Everything is in the oven together. I have the sweet potatoes and the meatloaf on the bottom, and then in the middle, if you can see that, I put the tray of vegetables. So I'm just gonna close that up and set my timer for 1 hour. Okay guys, we're doing pretty good so far. The only thing that I have left to do is to dice up my peppers and then make the corn muffins and my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies. So I'm gonna kind of do a little cleanup and then we will show you that. Okay, the last thing that I have to do as far as my fruits and veggies are concerned is chop up my peppers that are ready to go through the dicer. This is really loud, it's gonna make a loud pop, so I'm gonna do one of them and then I'll kind of speed through the rest of them and show you the way they look at the end. All right, here are the peppers, perfectly diced. I love this little chopper. I picked it up at Walmart. I think that it was only about $9.99. And I store my peppers just in this Rubbermaid container. I do like to put a thick layer of paper towels in there to soak up any moisture. Otherwise, it will get kind of gross by the end of the week, but the paper towels really help keep them fresh. And I've never had any issues with them. They're still good towards the end of the week. In fact, I still have probably enough left just to make my eggs in the morning from the peppers that I chopped up last Sunday. So there we go. They'll be in my fridge, ready whenever I need them for my breakfast or for my pizzas. All right guys, I'm ready to make the corn muffins to go along with the taco soup. It's so easy. You just need 1.5 cups of the self-rising cornmeal mix. I just use the Martha White. I've already measured that out. And then you need 21 grams of 21 ounces of cream style corn. So I am going to measure that. I've got one can here, which should be 14 ounces. And then about half of another can. There we go, 21 ounces exactly. And then you need 3 tablespoons of egg whites, which 3 tablespoons of egg whites is 46 grams. So I'm just going to flip over to grams and tear that out and measure out 46 grams. There we go, it went 47, but that's fine. I do have a spoon. And then I'm just going to stir this up and get it ready to put in the muffin tins. Alright, so I have that all mixed up. I'm ready to put it into my muffin tins, and I just like to use an ice cream scooper. I think that works best. And this is going to make 12 muffins, and they turn out to be 3 points for each muffin. So I will get these filled, and then I'll have to set them to the side, and we'll wait to put them in the oven once the sweet potatoes, the meatloaf, and the veggies are done. Stretch now. I'm down to making my protein cookies. So what you need for that is some peanut butter protein. I like this Centrex Matrix peanut butter cookie flavored. I will use 1 scoop of that. And then you need 1 scoop of some kind of chocolate protein powder. I love this PE Science Select. This is in the chocolate cupcake flavor. You can get this at like nutrition stores around town, or you can even order those on Amazon. I know I got the peanut butter cookie on Amazon, and the PE Science I've ordered on Amazon and also picked up at the Nutrition Factory here in town. You're going to need some egg whites. I use about 100 grams of egg whites. This I will modify just depending on the consistency. Just make sure that it is enough. You'll need about half a can of the 100% pure pumpkin. Make sure you get the 100% pure pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie filling that's already got sugar and other stuff added to it. So about half of this can, and then I'll save the other half for my batch of cookies for next week. I'm going to use 5 grams of this Hershey's Dark Cocoa and 5 grams of this Jell-O sugar-free chocolate pudding mix. And then probably about a tablespoon of baking powder. And once I get everything combined and mixed well, then I will add in 14 grams of the Lily's Dark Baking Chips. Alright, I've got all of the dry ingredients in here. 1 scoop of each of the protein powders, the Hershey's Cocoa, the baking powder, and the sugar-free Jell-O. I'm just going to give this a good stir just to combine everything really well before I add in the wet ingredients. And then I will mix it well, and then I will add in the baking chips last. Okay, now I've got all of the dry ingredients mixed up, so I'm going to take about half of this can of pumpkin, which this is 425 grams, so I'm going to try to do about 212 or so, 210. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's 200. There we go, 215. So that's good enough. I'll save the rest of that pumpkin for the cookies for next week. And then I'm going to do about 100 grams of liquid egg whites. I'm going to tear that out. And we'll stir this up and see what the consistency looks like. This is about the perfect consistency for the cookies that you want. So I have everything blended well. I'm going to go ahead and add 14 grams of the Lily's Dark Chocolate Baking Chips, the no sugar added. And mix that up. And then I have a baking sheet lined and not lined, sprayed with the Baker's Joy, and I'm going to get those on there and I'll show them to you. This will make 12 cookies. Alright guys, I got my 12 cookies portioned out here on this baking sheet, and as soon as the meatloaf and the veggies are done, I'm going to pop this in at 350. They only take about 9 to 10 minutes to cook, and then as soon as those are done, I have the corn muffins ready to go in the oven as well. And we will have this wrapped up with the exception of the taco soup. that is still finishing over in the crock pot, which it's been in there now for 3 or 4 hours on high, so it will definitely be ready by the time that we eat dinner. I just pulled the Mexican meatloafs out of the oven, and I'm gonna pour the rest of the red enchilada sauce on top of each one. And then it's gonna go back in for about 5 minutes or so. All right, I've got all of those covered with the rest of that enchilada sauce. That pan's hot, I forgot, I just grabbed it out of the oven. I'm gonna pop it back in for about 5 more. And I went ahead and pulled the vegetables out of the oven, which they smell delicious with that Montreal steak seasoning on there. Those are the perfect side, 0 points on Weight Watchers. And then here are the sweet potatoes, which they've turned out perfect too. They're nice and soft and cinnamony, and you can tell they've kind of caramelized a little bit, so perfect. And I will usually have about 4 ounces for my side on the sweet potatoes, and we'll just divide the vegetables equally. Anything extra will go into my husband's portions. He's not on Weight Watchers, but he does eat the same foods that I make. Just pulled the meatloaf out of the oven. It looks delicious, along with the sweet potatoes and the roasted veggies. I'm just going to let this sit here and cool for a little bit, and then we will get it plated up. Okay, I just pulled my cookies out of the oven. They baked for exactly 9 minutes. I don't know if you can tell that they are kind of puffed up a little bit. They will kind of flatten out. The first time I made them, I thought, oh, these looked a little rubbery or whatever, but they weren't. They were actually delicious. And I usually have 3 of them for 2 points for my dessert at night. And I just warm them up in the microwave for 30 seconds. I'll show you how I store them once they cool off. They look perfect. Okay, I'm ready to start plating up my meatloaf. I have my meatloaf ready. My containers, I'm going to use 6 of these with the 3 dividers in it, which I just picked those up at TJ Maxx. And I have my sweet potatoes and my veggies. I'm gonna plate up one and show it to you, and then I'll show them all to you at the end. Okay, so to plate these up, each container is gonna get 2 of the meatloaf muffins. Hopefully these aren't stuck too bad. I try to spray them pretty good, almost excessively, to make sure that they don't stick. Get 2 muffins each, and then I'm gonna measure about 4 ounces of potatoes in here. It's 3.5. Well, actually, we're just going to go 4.5. That's 4.5 ounces. And then I'm going to fill the veggies in the other container. Sometimes I'll have a few little leftover veggies, and I'll just kind of put those up here in the front with the muffins if I have more left over. But that's it. That's what one of them looks like. I'll show them all to you once I get them all plated up. Okay, I have all of the meatloaf plated up. There are 3 that has some extra sweet potatoes that I just put over in with the meatloaf side. All of them have a little bit of extra veggies, but the ones with the extra sweet potatoes will be my husband's. So he always gets the extra food. He actually says that he thinks he's gained weight since he's been eating my Weight Watchers food, because anything extra I always add to his plate. But he has never ever had to be on a diet or ever had a weight problem in his life. His body fat percentage is only like 15%, and he's probably bigger than he's ever been. So I don't feel bad for him. But this is a really good hearty meal if you want something that's filling, you know, that just hits that spot at night. This is the meal. And again, the points are not bad. I will leave the points and everything in the description box below. Okay, and I just pulled the corn muffins out of the oven. They look perfect. I'm going to let them sit here and cool, and then I will show you those once I get them out and how I store those as well. And these are 3 points for each muffin. Again, I made 12. We will have 2 muffins each on the night that we have our taco soup. Most of the taco soups come out to be 0 points. I think mine ends up to be about a point because of the 2 packets of taco seasoning that I add. So that's still really good for a 7-point meal. Okay, the cookies are cooled off now, and I am just going to store those in this little Ziploc container. And I store them in the refrigerator, and then once I want to eat them, I will just get out 2 to 3. If I just have 1 point left for the day, I'll eat 2. If I have enough for 2 points, then I will go ahead and eat 3 of them. And honestly, I don't know what the points are for 4 of them. I haven't even calculated it, but I wouldn't be able to eat that anyway. They're really filling with all the protein that's in them. So there you go. This will just go in the refrigerator until I'm ready for them. I just wanted to show y'all the finished corn muffins. I took them out of the muffin tin so that they could cool a little better, but look how delicious those are. And I will store those in a container in the refrigerator, and then we will just take them out each night and warm them up in the microwave for about 30 to 45 seconds. But they look amazing. I think my taco soup is perfectly ready now. It is 6 p.m. So this has been on high. Look, the chicken is actually falling apart before I can get it out. What I like to do is pull my chicken out, and I just put it on this paper plate. I put a couple of paper towels on it, and I'm just going to manually shred it by hand. I know some people like to use their blender or whatever, their handheld mixer, but I'm not going to go through all that trouble. Plus, I'm really picky about the pieces of chicken, and if there's any little funky spots or whatever, I want to make sure that I get that out. So I'm going to shred this, and then I'll show you putting it back in, and it should be done. Okay, I think that looks perfect. I have all of the chicken shredded up, and now I'm just going to take it and put it back into the soup. And I'll show y'all what that looks like. All of my animals are standing around me too. If you hear cats or dogs, they all love the shredded chicken. So I'm actually going to save a couple of little pieces on my paper towel for them. I'll pick you up and bring you over here. So here I'm going to put the chicken back in and just stir it up. And see how that thickens up? You know, earlier it was real soupy, but as soon as you shred the chicken and put it back in, it usually absorbs all of the liquid. So this looks good. I'm going to let it simmer for just a few more minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to plate it up. Here's all of my little animals. My little black puppy is Sophie. Hi, Sophie. And Ozzy, he's the little white puppy. And then I also have 2 cats. The Siamese cat is Luna, and the black cat is Maya. And they are eating their little bits of chicken that I saved for them. They love it. They've been standing here begging the whole time that I've been shredding the chicken. So Charlie is giving them what's left over. Okay, so everybody's hungry. So we're finally going to measure this out into these containers. I have 6 of these green containers. And this makes quite a bit. And then we'll also have 2 of the corn muffins to go along with it. So there's 1 container. We'll get the rest of these filled, and then I'll show you all of them before we dive in. Alright, the taco soup is plated up. We are ready to eat. We've divided this into 6 portions, and then we also have the 12 corn muffins. So I like to use these containers. We'll leave the one end empty, and then we can just warm up our corn muffins and have those in one end, and it will be easy to eat. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up my Sunday meal prep video. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please hit the like button and the subscribe and that little notification bell so that you are notified each time that I upload a new video. Right now my schedule is probably going to be 2 videos per week. I'll do a grocery haul video and then my meal prep video, and then occasionally I will try to throw in that 3rd video like I did last week, my full day of eating and stuff. I do work a full-time job, so sometimes it's hard to, you know, get all 3 videos done within a week's time period, but 2 is my goal to start off with right now. So I hope that you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or tips or comments for me, please leave those down in the comment section below. And I love y'all, and I will see y'all later. Bye.
Don't take it. Taking just don't